Welcome to my garden. Today we're breaking down everything that you need to know if you're getting started in working in a raised garden bed scenario. We've had this garden for quite some years and I've learned so many things, both positive and negative, from our setup that I'd love to share with you today. And through this video, we'll break down everything you need to know if you're a beginner or if you've been gardening for a while. So let's get into it. As you can see here, I am in a very sunny location within our property. And before you even get to gardening, you want to make sure that you're picking the best location available for you. You want to pick a spot that's going to have, first off, good sun, anywhere with 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. So before you even get into the ground or building or doing anything, make sure that you're scouting out throughout the day what the sun is actually hitting and you're getting a spot that is well situated. Outside of that, you also want to make sure that it's a really accessible location, something that's close to your house. So it's going to make it easy to go in there, to harvest, to weed, to water, to mend, take care of, something that's close to you. It's also going to be a great hangout space. We're here all the time, so make it really easy to get to and get around. And then lastly, when picking your location, is figuring out a spot that has good drainage. So when you are building out your beds, you're probably going to have a lot of water going into this area. Make sure that you're able to have an area that's going to drain well into the soil. So really watch and look after a big rainstorm what your property looks like. If you have areas where the water's pooling or flooding, then you might not want to add your garden there. You're also, when you're picking this location, make sure that you're able to actually get water into this location. When we first picked out our location for our garden, we did not think about water. I don't know why, it just did not come to our mind. We've now made it a top priority when choosing where we're putting our plants and where we're situating things and how we're going to actually water them for this season. We actually do a water collection system where we collect water from our barn that we have within our property, and then this feeds into our garden. If you're interested in learning more about how to do your own water collection, I will definitely link down some videos below of what Chris, my husband, built to collect that water and make sure that we can use it to water our garden. Next up, let's talk about the material that you're going to be using for your beds. Here we used a Douglas fir and we used the Shishibong method, which is basically burning the wood to make it more durable. This absolutely did not work in our favor. We've had to do a lot of work to it. We've had some of the boards actually bend. Some of them look like they're literally going to fall off and need to be replaced. A downside to our beds is that you definitely are going to have to re-stain them and make sure that you're fixing up some of the rotting that might be occurring within the beds. Like this, you can see it is just rotting out really badly. We've had to stain and just rework all of them. So if you're working with wood, this is definitely something that can happen to your beds. It does look beautiful, but it's not always going to stand the test of time. We've also noticed that there's been a lot of pests coming into our wood and ruining the integrity of the wood, burrowing holes, some things like ants, bees, and others. So definitely watch out if your area is susceptible to some of these wood-loving animals, because they can definitely remove the integrity of your beds and you're going to have to rework them. I would definitely suggest doing something more durable if you're choosing wood, something like a cedar or a redwood that's really going to stand the test of time. You can also use more durable materials than wood, like brick or something like a galvanized steel, which works really well in a garden, and there are so many great ones available. This one is a brand new one from Landguard that we're putting together today, and it just makes sure that it's really durable from any of those bugs, insects that could be burrowing into it, as well as any of the rot that you could get from wood that you might be working with. And they've made it really easy at Landguard to make beds whatever size you want. And that is going to be my next thing to think about. I definitely suggest, after building this garden, not going wider than 3 to 4 feet. Anything like this 8-foot bed, it's just really hard to get into the center of. You literally need to climb into the center of it, and that makes it so that it's not the best size shape, because you don't want to be jumping in and having to worry about ruining any of the plants that are inside of those beds. And the next thing to think about is how long it's going to be. And if you can do long ones, then definitely do it. It's just going to be a better use of your space. The longest bed that we have is a nice 16-footer. I don't know if you can see it right here, and it is 16 by 4 foot. Anything that's a good 4 foot wide like this one or smaller gives you the ability to reach in from either side and kind of get what you need to get in there and make sure that all of your plants are working in there well. The next thing to really think about is your soil and making sure that you're choosing the right type of soil for your garden. Now, a lot of our beds are going to be pretty high in height. So what we do is when we are creating our soil beds, especially for the first time, you can use a nice layering method. So I usually put some logs, twigs, any decomposable items, leaves, hay, anything that you might have around your yard can go into the bottom. And then we can put some good compost and some good soil. Make sure that it's well drainable. You have some sand mixed in there and you have a nice ingredients to your mixture. Every year before getting into our garden, we do use black cow to compost in some more nutrients into our soil. And one of the best things about a raised garden bed is that you get to really choose the soil that is available in your bed. You don't have to use what's just there. And that means that you can make it a really nutrient, amazing soil for your plants to grow in. Now let's talk about the watering scenario. My garden is huge and rain is going to be really great at making sure that my garden's getting enough water that it needs. But it doesn't rain every day in the summer or during my growing season, which is why we actually use a really great water collection method. Here you can see I have a really nice 40-foot by 20-foot deep barn, and I have some IBC totes which are collecting water for me. It's actually collecting water from the roof here, and it's hooked up to a system you can see right here that's feeding into these IBC totes. I have a good deal of them, and they are covered so that no mold is growing within them because it's nice and black. And then it connects to a nice hose that then connects to my garden so that I can water everything. Now, this isn't the most automated system. If we were to do this again, I would definitely do some type of drip irrigation because right now we do need to go in daily and sometimes more than one time a day to water our gardens. And although it is a beautiful part of the day, sometimes we forget or sometimes we go on vacation and then you can't always get in there and water. So definitely choose, if you can automate a system and put in a drip automated irrigation system, I would choose that. Do something that's going to automate it for you so it makes it easy and you can travel and not worry about watering your garden every single day. Within our garden, we have a lot of systems set up to keep out all of our furry little friends and bugs that want to come eat all of our goodies. We have our beautiful fences set up to keep out the deer, rabbits, and any of those animals that might kind of burrow in. And then we have these PVC pipes here in our strawberry beds, which we're going to be putting netting over to help protect some of our berries from the birds. You really need to think about everything because they're going to come in from all angles. Another thing that you can think about is when you are planting your garden is to plant plants that are going to keep out some of the pests. There are a wide variety of plants, so depending on your zone, you can add some of those herbs and different types of items into your garden to scare off some of the bugs. For example, we love planting onions and other herbs that are going to detract a lot of our buggies from coming in and eating all of our goodies within our garden. And you can choose plants as well. I'll list some down below that are going to be great at that. And if you're interested in more, I can definitely share a video on some of the plants that we integrate within our beds to make sure to keep out a lot of those pests that we really don't want eating any of our other good veggies and goodness in the garden. Another really important fact before you actually start gardening is deciding what you're going to actually be planting in your garden. That's probably the most important aspect of gardening because you want to make sure that you're choosing plants that you're actually going to eat and that your family is going to love. And I suggest first deciding on what you like to buy when you're at the grocery store. Which veggies and vegetables and fruits do you pick up on your own? And then from there, look and see which ones are going to grow best in your zone, which ones are the easiest to get started with. Like zucchini is an amazing vegetable to get started with, but if you don't eat zucchini, then why are you growing it in your garden? Definitely think about these things. This is just the first of many gardening videos, so if you are not already a part of the journey, then definitely subscribe and let me know what other things you would like to hear about in homesteading and gardening, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!